Welcome everybody to the Home Mechanics step-by-step series, and this one we're going to be doing the front brake pads on a Vauxhall Corsa. So stick around and we'll get straight into it. Right, so here we have a Vauxhall Corsa 2009, and today we're going to be fitting some front brake pads. A relatively easy job to do, anyone who can do it at home. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go through a step-by-step process, literally every step that you need to do it all, and I'm going to do timestamps within the description so you can jump to any bit that you're interested in from it all. We're going to go from everything from taking the wheel off, taking the pads out, cleaning them up, everything from that. So let's get into it now. So we're going to be using Padgett brakes. These are from Euro Car Parts, and these are one of the best pads like I've been fitting for quite a few years. They're a good quality, they're OE quality supplier, and yeah, never had any problems with them. So this is where I go get them from, get some as well. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to bring the camera in nice and close so you won't see me anymore, and we'll concentrate straight on the car. What I always like to do first before I start on any brakes is find the cap for the brake fluid. So this is your engine, it's in the top left hand corner. Remove the cap, so any extra fluid in there we can get out without making too much of a mess, and it relieves any pressure through from that. I don't know if you can see from here, but so what we can see is we've actually got the caps on the wheels that you're going to need to take off first. And you're also going to need to find your locking wheel nut box, and this is where obviously you're going to find the locking wheel nut key to get the wheels off. You can use your like brace that's with the vehicle, a bar or something like that to undo it. I'm obviously going to be using my gun because I'm in a garage, but this is a size 17mm. Okay, so what you'll need to do to take the wheel caps off is get some needle pliers or something like that, so you can grab the sides of it and then just pull them out like that. So we have one. You've got to grab them really tight sometimes because they can be a bit stiff. 2, 3, and then from that you can see the wheel nuts. Just to state, obviously, before we get into this, my wheels are off the ground. They're on my little ramp. So to do this, you can use the jack that's with it. I probably would suggest buying a proper jack and at least an axle stand underneath it for added security. So if in case anything does fall off the jack, you've got that there from it all. So you do need to have the wheel off the ground before you take the wheel off of the car. Never start with the locking wheel nut either. There we go, 1, 2, 3. Before you take the 4th one off, the wheel will fall off because these are studs, not bolts. Okay, so with bolts, you have if you have nuts, you have the thread on there that will hold it on, but this is going to fall off when you take it off. So always support the bottom as well before you undo the last one. Yep, and then that way you can transfer your hands over, and then you can just remove the wheel nice and easy. So here we have the brake disc and pads. So here we have this is the caliper, and inside here is where the pads are going to be situated. So we have to undo these 2 bolts here and here, one here and one here. These are what's going to take the caliper off. Now, as we're only replacing the pads and not the discs, we only actually need to take off the bottom caliper, bolt, and then that can then fold up from there. So it's the 12mm. Now, if your brakes have been replaced before, sometimes the bolts can be changed from what they are. This one is a 12mm, so I'll get this on here for it. So I'm just using a normal spanner like you would be doing at home as well, and you need to go anti-clockwise. Okay, so righty-tighty, lefty-loosey. And here we have some lugs. Yeah, so you don't need to hold anything on from here. You can just undo it. That's that one, been removed. What we might do, so what you would do from here would be get a screwdriver or a lever bar. It's always good to put it in between these two here. So this is the caliper and this is the pad carrier. So then we put it in from there, and then we can just lever it up like so. And then here, this is the piston of the caliper, which then feeds back into here, and then Here's our pads, disc is in the middle. So then we can leave that, we can put that up and out of the way. But for the video, what I shall do is I'll take out both bolts, all right? See, this is exactly what I was talking about. This has been replaced before, okay? So this top one is actually a 13mm bolt, and the bottom one is a 12. So whoever's replaced the pads before, they've changed the bolt that comes with it. So then we just crack that one off, nice and easy. Take that out. Put it over here with that one. And then what we can do is we can just remove the caliper itself. It's best not to leave them hanging on the hoses. So what I do is I just put it on top here, just like that, just while we work on this section here. So the next thing you need to do is you need to check to make sure that the sliders aren't seized. Now this is what can cause pad wear, nice and free from those bits, and then we can take the pads out, hopefully nice and easily. So there we go. Here we have the pads worn down quite a bit. These are GM pads, actually. These are original GM pads. So it's a bit weird why one is 12 and one is a 13. But there we go. So that's how you get the pads out. Then we'll get the new. At this point, I think it's probably a good idea to push back the piston within the caliper. So to be able to get the new pads in, obviously going to be thicker, we're going to need to push back this piston back into the body here. So therefore you've got enough space to put the pads back on. Now there's two real methods. You can use some swan necks like these. So what you would do is then you get them like this, put them over there. Let me just quickly see it. So you'll have these, you put that over there like that, and then you just squeeze it back. It will be very tight, it'll be tight, but it will slowly move back. And what this is also doing is this is pushing the fluid back into the reservoir up the top. So you need to keep an eye on that to make sure that the level in the bottle at the top of the engine bay is not overflowing. We've got plenty of room in there. So now we've done that, you can see that the piston is fully back within its holder, okay? That's good. So then now what we'll do, let's pop that back there for a minute. We'll get our new pads. Here we have the box. Inside the box we will have 1, 2, 3, 4. Now you can tell obviously this hasn't been done from there. So we've got 4 and we've got 1 which has got a pad wear sensor on it, okay? This is a pad wear indicator, so when they get too low that will start wearing out on it. There's only 1 on all 4, so what we'll do is we'll check the 2 that we've got here to see if they've got any on it. Neither of these have got that wear sensor on it. When you do buy Padged, like I was saying, that they have actually supplied us with some new shims. So you pay that little bit more. These were £24 plus VAT, so they are a bit more expensive than other ones, but you get a full set of shims and you get 2 bolts. Yeah, just 2 bolts, not 4 bolts, 2 bolts. That's why I said about it's usually just the bottom, you can lift it up. But so we've got a load of new shims, so what we'll do is we'll replace the shims. So I'll take off that bottom one which we showed before. You can sort of see how it's situated and how it looks. You have to make sure you have to put exactly the same one on. This is this way, that is the other way. So there we go, we've got new shims, so we'll fit them. Some pads don't come with new shims, okay? Like cheaper branded ones don't come with new shims. So again, find the one that it matches, it's this one. Make sure it's clean. Make sure that these bits here, you see there's like a lip on that side and that side, they have to fit over this bit here, okay? There we go, clip. Take that one off, so find the one that looks the same. Yep. Yep, and then the last one at the bottom. Just check them all, make sure they're all nice and clean. There we go, all nicely new shims. So, pad installations, we don't have any mating faces through from that, otherwise they'll be pretty much identical. Yeah, they're the same. There was no grease on any of these when they came out, yeah, from the factory, no grease or anything like that, and I'm not one to put grease all over them either. So, there we go, we've installed the 2 new pads back into there. Then what we'll do is we'll then put the caliper back on in its sort of place. Now these parts here, okay, they're flatter, shorter one side and longer the other side. If you have them the wrong way, like that, then it won't fit, okay? So they have to be flat. Just like that. Okay, then we'll put in the 12. What one's this one? Let's work out what we've got here. Yeah, so the other new one we have here is a 12. So we're going to put 2 12s on it, so it'll be easier for next time. So, screw that in. And then this one, you see, has got some Loctite on it. We'll put that in here, into the bottom. And then we go clockwise to tighten them up. The one with the Loctite will be a bit more stiffer when you're tightening it, because that's the whole point of Loctite. There we go. Tightening torques, you can find the tightening torques online if you need to, or you just do them up to sort of how they came undone. Like, I mean, you don't put any big bars or anything on it, just, you know, use your spanner and it can nip it up. You can feel how tight it needs to be. It's like the opposite amount to how it was when you undone it. So, now we've installed the pads. We've put the bolts back on the caliper. We've checked the level in the top. We've checked the level in the top is okay. The next thing we need to do is you need to push the pedal out, okay? Because where you've done that, you would have pushed the piston all the way back. So we'll just 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So there we go. Now we've done the brake pads on this side. We'll just rotate the wheel, make sure it's, you know, it's not seized or sticking or anything like that. It's rotating, everything's fine from that. We've pushed the pedal out. Now we can put the wheel back on. Again, because it doesn't have any studs to hold it on, you have to make sure that you get the bolts pretty much lined up where they need to be. And a good tip is to use the locking wheel nut one, because it's actually longer with the nut on it, or obviously use the socket that you have. So try and line the holes up as best you can. Yeah. Hold the bottom of the wheel and then install the bolt into the bottom, because that way, once you've done it into the bottom, it'll hold them into place. And we will obviously put in our remaining wheel bolts. Give them a little nip with the gun, or you just do them hand tight until they're tight. And the next stage from here, I have to do the other side, so I'm just going to run it through with you, is obviously take the axle stands out or whatever you have, lower it onto the ground, yeah, make sure you have the handbrake on, and then you obviously want to use your torque wrench and torque the wheels up to the desired torque setting that you need. You obviously have to find that. I'll try and, usually between sort of 90 and 110. I'll be doing it to about 108. So once you've done that and tightened them all up, take it out. Both sides, obviously, this is only half of it. You have to do the same again on the other side. two sides. Once it's all done and you've replaced all them, the front brake pads in the car, then the next thing you need to do is obviously take it out for a road test and take it nice and easy for the first sort of 100 miles. Don't go too crazy with your braking. If you feel there's any problems or something doesn't feel right or squeaking, bring it back and then, you know, take it up, check it out and find out what the problem is. But hopefully you won't have any problems with this one. So that's it really. So that is how you replace the front brakes on a Vauxhall Corsa. It's definitely something that I think you can try at home if you feel like you've got, you want to try it out and see how it goes. So if you found the video helpful at all, then please do like and subscribe. It does help me. And if this is a series that you want me to see doing more of, then let me know on that one. Until next time, see you later.